What's up, guys? My name is Hunter Mcintyre, and I have a public service announcement. So recently, I posted a video online having to do with our masterclass, informing people on rowing technique for the sport of Hyrox. That's a really important note to nail that down in the beginning. And, it just kind of posted on the internet, got a little bit of attention, nothing crazy. And then it somehow got into the not even Olympic, just the rowing community. And this one guy came out of the woodwork who really wanted to get after me. His name was Cameron Buchan. And I looked him up. He's a Scottish rower, tall guy. He'd probably be this much taller than me. Has some impressive times. I think he pulls like a 5:49 on the 2K on an erg, which is great. And I think he's been competitive in a couple like World Cup style events. So he's got a history behind him. Now, the reason why I wanted to address this and have this long form video is because it wasn't necessarily like a kind reach out. It was more of an aggressive reach out where these people were saying that I was basically teaching improper form that could get people hurt, and it was sad that I was basically coaching and making money off of putting out poor information on rowing. Now, we're going to really start to split the hairs on this one here. What is the difference between getting on a boat and rowing, getting on an erg and rowing, and just doing like a 2K, and then using an erg in the middle of like a CrossFit style Hyrox workout? Three totally different things. One, you're obviously on water and you're in a boat. Two, you're just rowing for meters and trying to get a really good time right here in isolation. And then three is when you're rowing in the middle of a continuous workout. So it's only one aspect of it. Now, if you look at my world record time, which was 55:09 for Hyrox, which is a functional fitness event, if you guys don't know about it, it includes 8 stations, one of them being a 1K row, and 8K of running, and a bunch of other crazy stuff. Now, my best time was, I think, 3:48. Not that crazy of a time for a 1K. But in the comparison, it's about 1/20th the size of the entire race. It's not that big of an aspect. Now, what these guys are saying is my technique that I'm trying to teach athletes around the world that you can use to have a better Hyrox time, because it's a Hyrox masterclass, is poor form, poor information, and then I'm a charlatan. And I'm basically giving out information that could get you guys hurt, or give you guys just crappy rowing information because I'm not a World Cup rower. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to give you guys a history lesson on Hunter Mcintyre. He's a pretty fascinating guy. I started competing at a high level around 2012. The first time I ever competed using a rower consistently is when Spartan Race introduced rowers in the middle of stadium races. Now, I was undefeated in stadium races except for one race. So that means I'm pretty good at this thing. Now, I was using a rower in my training to understand how to do a better job in my races. And then rowing started to get more involved in CrossFit. I even took top 100 in a couple of the open workouts that included rowers, okay? And then I got onto a sport called Hyrox, which I have set 3 world records in and have won 2 world titles in. And that includes rowers as well. And the understanding of being able to be a good rower in the sport of functional fitness versus the sport of just erging is totally different. Now, let me explain to you guys why that is. If you're just going to row on an erg, you're just doing this for a while. It is one plane of motion. It is a sit and a pull and just a follow through and a repeat until you're done. Now, in the sport of Hyrox alone, before you get to the rower, you are going to be doing 4K of running in 4 stations, which includes ski erg, sled push, sled pull, and then 80 meters of burpee broad jump. Now, what that does to the body is totally different than what you would experience isolated just on a rower. And that's what I want to really mark as an important factor of this whole conversation. Now, these guys are saying that I'm telling you guys bad information. Yes, it may not be ideal information if you are just rowing. Now, if you are a Hyrox athlete or a functional fitness athlete, using this technique could be extremely effective in making sure that the next thing that you're doing is actually in better shape than if you use the technique that they're trying to suggest. Now, how have I figured that out? Maybe it's because I've been doing this for 10 years. And maybe it's because I really care about my own results and the people that I coach. Now, do you think that I'm the kind of guy that would intentionally sabotage my results just to prove my own point? I don't think so. I don't think that the amount of world titles that I've amassed have been in my own state of ego, not being able to be open to any kind of coaches. I've had dozens of coaches. I'm in a new sport right now where I'm being coached by people all the time. I'm not saying, oh, I don't want to listen to that. Hunter knows best. So I think there's 2 lessons to be learned here. One, you shouldn't pick fights on the internet without really reaching in and understanding about what's being said there. And I'm being attacked by the whole rowing world right now. They're all after me and they're saying, Hunter, you're such a narcissistic POS. And I've even asked Cameron to come on a podcast with me, and his suggestion for solving this equation was to do a 5K row against him. And then he called me a bully for saying that's not really a easy way of interpreting and solving this problem we have here. And I want you guys to understand that I have no intentions of bullying people on the internet. I actually have an intention of creating an incredible masterclass, and I've already left my mark on the fitness world. I don't need to go back there. I've done the damage I need to do. I've set the records I need to set, and I'm on to new things. And now I'm actually coaching and educating people around the world. So that one thing that I want to tell you about is don't pick fights with people on the internet when you don't even really understand what you're talking about. They went after me for my rowing forum, which was not even continuous with what they were trying to say. And then part two, guys, is you should understand that you should really look for a coach that is consistent with the program that you're getting involved in. I don't think that it's going to hurt you to go work with somebody who is an Olympic rower, but at the same time, does that really make sure that you get to the finish line faster of a race that's a functional fitness event? Maybe not so much. I'm not saying you guys should buy my program, but what I am saying is, Cameron, I'm sitting here waiting for you anytime you'd like to talk, and I think I just debunked your poor theory.